Should I listen to another streamer while I'm playing? What do you guys think? What's with your paths? Send you two. Let's do this one.
And how are the numbers looking? We're landing at a strong 70
Doing a
SPF.
So Kripparrian has released his Path of Exile 4 review. You gonna like it? All right, let's see it.
Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here.
That's
Yeah,
it.
watch
I
it.
want to give you guys my...
Sure. You know what's gonna be funny is one day PoE 4 is gonna come out, and Diablo 6 will probably be coming out at the same time, and everybody in the PoE general chat will be like, Diablo 6 sucks! Oh bro, this is so much better than Diablo 6? Oh wow.
Take on Path of Exile 2.
Yeah.
I haven't played it for several days, almost a week, but I have been playing like 14 plus hours a day.
That's pretty good.
And I have been near the top of the ladder, so I have been playing quite efficiently. So basically, I'm at the point right now where most people start to approach in like, you know, a week, few weeks time, depending on how much time you know, you might have to dedicate to the game. And I want to give you guys my opinion of things. And you might not agree with some things. You know, there's a game out there for everyone. And I think my opinion is valuable, at least because while you might have your own take on the game, you might be having a lot of fun right now. But yeah, I can kind of tell you how probably you will feel in some time, in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, whatever. That's just kind of how these things work when you have
See, this is what fucking happened with New World. Is I played the game so much on the beta that I ran into all of the end game problems, and then nobody would listen to me because they were all level 17 and fishing. They're like, oh yeah, that's not what it's gonna be like. And then a month or two later, after they got there, they're like, oh, this is it. Just
why this is.
I was so mad about that.
Me, who just play every waking hour of the day, all day when the game comes out. So. As you have seen the title of the video, Path of Exile 2 is ruthless. This is not like describing Path of Exile 2, though I guess it could describe Path of Exile 2. It is actually literal. Ruthless is a game mode in Path of Exile 1, and in my opinion, the Ruthless game mode in Path of Exile 1 has been the pre-alpha test for Path of Exile 2. The concepts behind everything, the concepts behind scarcity, it is like the same thing. And again, I want you guys to understand this is not like an ignorant opinion. Ruthless is what I've mostly been playing in Path of Exile 1. Since
Kripparrian's played Ruthless a lot. I remember watching his video on it like over a year ago.
Path of Exile 1 added Ruthless to its game mode list. I have leveled many characters past 90, and level 90 in Ruthless is about equivalent to level 100 outside of Ruthless, so it is quite a task.
Holy shit.
And I really like Ruthless, and for a lot of the reasons why I really like Ruthless, I quite like Path of Exile 2, but as you will see in today's video, there are certainly some issues that make it a little bit less fun. But it is pretty surprising to me, because I know a lot of people have been hyped for Path of Exile 2. A lot of people who played Path of Exile 1, they were kind of ridiculing Ruthless about how stupid of a game mode it is, and now they're basically playing the graphical and mechanical update to Ruthless. And
it's because it's a better game. The problem is PoE 1 has turned into such a contrived experience where you're running around clearing entire screens of mobs with one button, and then mobs kill you in one hit. It's so stupid. Like, when you really actually take a step back and look at the way people are playing PoE 1, it's fucking dumb. Yeah, it's not even a game almost. It's too bloated.
Having so much fun. How about that?
Oh, so Ruthless, some people are saying they don't know what it is. So what Ruthless is in PoE 1, is it's like they removed a lot of mobility skills, they slowed down tons of stuff in the game, they made loot way more scarce, and they made leveling harder. It's basically like playing the game on hard mode.
Ruthless
I'm gonna get
is
is level
fantastic
5s.
in Path of Exile 1. I think people
All
were
I'm going
overly
to get
dismissive
are
about it,
level 5
but the things that
skills,
exist in
skill
Ruthless
1,
and Path of Exile 1 that people who typically play Path of Exile 1 didn't really like that much certainly are there, and honestly, to a higher degree in Path of Exile 2. So I think Path of Exile 2 may appeal to a new Path of Exile gamer.
That's
but I think
smart, and that's what they should do. Because they already have Path of Exile 1 gamers. They've had them for 10 years. If Path of Exile 2 isn't making that circle of influence larger, why does it even exist?
a lot of people who really enjoyed Path of Exile 1 may or may not like Path of Exile 2 in how the game is currently set up. Okay? But overall, I think Path of Exile 2 is a pretty good game. So you might be thinking, why is it like this? I'll just give you a few examples here. Nice. Polish in the game is really, really good. Okay. Generally, it's like, you know, if you want to actually get, you know, high-tier maps, you have to literally fully invest in high-tier maps. If you want meaningful rewards from some of these, like League mechanics, you have to fully invest in them. If you just do them a little bit, they honestly feel like a waste of time. The game is filled with just real danger. It's super slow. It's super sluggish. This is the best movements.
I don't even think it's that sluggish, personally. Maybe I'm just being weird. I don't think so. I think it's fine. It's just... Get in maps. I am in maps. It's slow compared to PoE 1. Sure, yeah. But PoE 1 shouldn't be a bench fight. It's too fast. It's too... Like, I remember playing PoE 1, my eyes would start hurting because I realized that I trained myself to not blink. Because if I blink, I could die.
Skill that I have, and if you hit any object or a monster, you're stopped in your tracks, and it has a cooldown, and it has a lot of other limitations, so it is very much ruthless. It is also very unforgiving. The amount you have to invest to make a character work to go through a boss can be daunting, and honestly, it's not that fair either. Like, you see my character now, I have like 3,000 health. With, like, honestly, an absurd amount of damage reduction mechanics, more than I've seen on any other character. And, I mean, you still get one shot. Like, this character, high-level maps, literally, you're getting one-shotted all the time. The main difference from Path of Exile 2 and Ruthless is actually...
That's one of the things I didn't like about PoE 1, how you would just get insta-gibbed. I hate getting killed in one hit. It feels very unfulfilling.
It's almost like an
extra. Unless it's something really, really big, I just like, oh, fuck, okay.
The dodge roll. The dodge roll seems to be something they've balanced the game around. And honestly, I don't like it that much. I don't like the dodge roll that much in general, and I don't like the fact that they're balancing the game around it. So what do I mean by, how are they balancing the game around it, Crip? Well, in Path of Exile 1, if you want to really tank a character, you can make one. If you want to make a character that survives the highest damage ability in the game, you can do that. You're going to have crappy damage. It's going to have other disadvantages, but you can do that. In Path of Exile 2, you can't really do that. You can invest...
I think that's a good thing, because that allows them to balance the game. Like, if you have a spectrum that's this big of survivability, you have to balance for this spectrum. If you have a spectrum that's this big of survivability, you have to balance for this spectrum. And so, like, because of that, that's why you don't have as many one-shots in PoE 2. Now, you do have them, like what he's saying, but they're not at least as common.
Invest in as much health and as much survivability as possible, and you can get nearly one-tapped by a near max level map, granted. But, like, I did an expedition the other day, and I got killed in nearly one hit. Somebody's like 50 life with like 0.2 second reaction time, a tiny white bubble on the ground.
Okay. Please stop doing on-death effects. I hate them. I hate them. They're not fun.
I'm not gonna watch this because I already watched his.
That's it. I think they suck.
Choke on this!
They're stupid. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with this. There's so many of their it's annoying. It's so fucking annoying. Like I understand, like, oh yeah, it makes the game harder, it makes you have to pay attention. I don't want to have to pay. Like, mob's fucking dead. The only ones that I think are okay are like the fat boys that turn red when they die, because it's so fucking obvious. Other than that, please just get rid of them. It's just not fucking. Like, I never die to an on-death effect and I think, oh man, I really should have played better. Oh, I think, fuck. Of course. It's not fun. Not a fun vector of difficulty.
Visual clarity and understanding the danger of the events you're facing is not good in Path of Exile 2. And combined with the fact that you almost can't survive anything unless you are looking at everything all the time and utilizing your dodge roll. Like, there are many boss mechanics that if you mistime your dodge roll, you will get one-shotted. And I do want to also mention that I've taken a look at a lot of other people's builds, a lot of
I think that sucks. I mean, even in Elden Ring, that doesn't really happen. You have to fuck up like 2 or 3 times.
Making builds and stuff. The way the game is set up is, if you want to progress, if you want to level, if you want to reach the highest tier maps, you need to make a character that doesn't, like, almost ever die. A lot of the builds that I've seen are people doing like tier 1 and tier 2 maps with like less than 2,000 health. And
That's
I'm pretty much going to straight up say it. Some of you guys might not like this, but those guides are not worth anything when it comes to dealing with like actual high-level maps. Because in actual high-level maps, if you have 3,000 health, 5,000 armor, are using active block, are keeping your distance, have damage mitigation, have armor applied to elemental damage, have damage reduction by like 20%, have a bunch of minions protecting you from a copious amount of projectiles, you're still gonna get nearly one-shotted constantly, repeatedly. Okay, that's the game.
Oh boy.
So if you see someone, it's like, oh wow, this build is so good, I'm gonna tell you, you're in for disappointment. I've seen like, 1,700 life builds. They're just like cruising through tier 1 and 2 maps.
What about 1,400?
That's all they're gonna do.
Okay. What?
That's it. You maybe add like 5 tiers, and then you start getting one-shotted in every 3rd map.
What?
That actually makes the character unplayable at that point. Because if you die in a map, the map is lost. Effectively, the progression to get to that map tier is lost. You are basically completely screwed. And you're set back because you do lose experience if you die at, like, I think level 70-something plus. You actually lose 15% experience, I believe. A lot of experience. So it might mean that you also never level up. Okay.
That's me.
So it is truly ruthless. It is beyond ruthless in that sense.
We are not
All right. So let's back up a little bit. You're checking out Path of Exile 2 for the first time, and I want to kind of go over things and offer mostly my issues with the game, because you've probably heard enough positivity. I've actually quite enjoyed my playthrough. Overall, I think it's very fun to play Path of Exile 2. I recommend you guys try. Okay, so you start off the game. You're in the early game. The main thing that I dislike in the early game is gems and balance. I don't like their gem system more than I like Path of Exile 1 gem system, because you can't like farm to get character power. In Path of Exile 1, if you're playing a character that maybe is just not so good in the early game, or maybe it's not so good in the mid game, what you can do is you can stay in a zone a little bit longer, kill a bunch more monsters, your gems will level up, and this will be like over-leveling, and it'll make the content that you're about to do a little bit less challenging. It kind of has this forgiveness, and it allows Path of Exile 1 to have broadly very well-balanced content, because...
Don't agree? No, I think that, like, really... I mean... I don't think that games need to have, like, hard filters that you can't over-level in Act 1. Like, Dark Souls doesn't have this, Elden Ring doesn't have this, World of Warcraft didn't have this. Like, it's not a thing, like, games don't have it, it's fine, but what is it? You don't need to make the game that hard that early. It helps noobs too, yeah.
Well, you're not forcing people into like, at this point you have to defeat that, which is a nice concept in general, but if it's too rigid, which in my opinion in Path of Exile 2 it is, because largely of their gem system, it doesn't feel very good. Path of Exile 2...
I think it's also the gear. Like, I don't think it's just the gems. For me, it's like the gear. Because whenever I got like a staff, and I got like a level 3 staff that gave me +2 to fire skills, and then I just used Fireball. Bro, that worm, the mud area, I don't even know where it was.
If you're facing a boss and the boss is too hard, your options are basically to farm a zone for hours and hours and hours, and you'll get like 2%, maybe 10% character power to get an item upgrade. Because getting like another couple levels, it's not getting you that much power. The passive tree, not that much power there. Your gems, you literally can't level.
There's not power in the... I don't know if I agree with that, because I feel like there's probably more power in the passive tree now than there was in PoE 1. Because like you don't have as many... What do you call it? You don't have as many life nodes. You don't have to balance life nodes and power nodes. There's far less. There's spikes in the tree? Yeah, you're actually wrong. Not yet. I don't know. I mean, didn't have this problem. Yeah, I from my perspective, it definitely didn't happen.
Hold on. The way that gems work is the level of a gem drops from a level of the zone. So if you can't beat like a boss in the campaign, you can't increase the level of your gems. The best you can do is match the level of the gems of that zone, which usually again doesn't give you that much character power if your main gem is already of that level. So it gets a little bit tricky because they're kind of setting themselves up for a real challenge in finding some sort of balance to this, because not every class is going to be pretty balanced in every single stage of the game, especially the early game. In my opinion, Path of Exile 1's gem system is amazing. I think it's the best skill system in the RPG. I think it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of mechanics. It can look a little bit daunting, but in Path of Exile 2, it is a little bit more polished of a system. It looks a little bit less daunting, but it's actually not, because the core mechanics and the scaling and the optimal setups are still going to be like Giga Theory crafted. It's not really any simpler in that sense. It might be a little bit simpler for the player that doesn't want to look literally anything up and just wants to dive.
I think that the gem system in PoE 1 is not that good. I don't like how you have to match socket colors, and I think that it ends up being frustrating for players and constraining for players more than it helps. I think that the PoE 1 gem system is much more complex, so if you like very complex gameplay, then PoE 1 is definitely going to be better. But I think that PoE 2, there are probably a few things that they could improve with the gem system, like what Trick is saying. But that's why I quit PoE. You think so? The gem system of PoE 1 is why I don't play PoE. Yeah, I don't really think it's like super great, personally.
I think the game, I don't know how many players like that there are these days.
Yeah.
Maybe there's quite a few. Need more mana. No, maybe that's something that they're keeping in mind. But overall, the core idea that you can't get power from gems is really kind of weak, in my opinion. And I also think that it's really lame that it's trivialized trading. So if you're playing in a trading environment, you do trivialize everything. You literally trivialize everything. You can be like, oh, well, all these other players that have been playing the game like crazy, I can just buy a max level gem from them. Because, you know, my character, I've been doing...
They have level requirements, you can't do that. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, you can't do that. He means in maps? Well, I thought we were talking about campaign. In maps you can? Okay.
Like some of the highest tier maps, I have like 30 gems that are like level 18 or something. I have like so many. They're worthless to me, right? So like someone who is playing behind me, just like, Crip, I want to buy one of your level 18 gems. They literally missed out an enormous amount of progression.
Yeah.
And this problem really does start in their gem system, and you feel this problem right away in the early parts of the campaign. For me, Act 2 was the hardest part of the game.
Wow.
Not of the campaign. Of the entire game, the hardest part was Act 2.
What?
Why? Because I didn't get any skill gems. They're pretty rare in the campaign. I just didn't get one. I went from a
Bro,
level...
have I just gotten lucky with everything? I feel like I just got lucky with everything and I didn't have any problems. What the fuck? Yeah.
6 Raging Spirits to a level 10 at the start of Act 3. And in Act 2, I had 0 gem upgrades for my main source of damage.
Yeah.
It was actually awful. And yeah, that doesn't feel good, right? There's nothing I could do in terms of character power other than mindlessly grind the same zone and hope that I get a gem drop. But the buff gems, the spirit cost gems, are just like really, really rare. So yeah, I just didn't get one. A lot of people played the build guide. Glad you guys enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, no problem, Script. Build's great. Thank you. I was like, yeah. But, you know, you get unlucky with gems, it's not going to feel super great. In the mid game, you're going to...
It feels good to be a minion class, man. It really does. It feels so good.
Start to do ascendancies. The ascendancy system is kind of frustrating. Basically, ascendancies are not free like they are in Path of Exile 1. Getting your first ascendancy point is pretty easy. Getting your second one, you have to do like an ultimatum. An ultimatum is insane RNG. You can do the same ultimatum and it can be unbelievably easy. It's like just clearing white trash mobs, or it can be borderline impossible for the build that you're currently playing. I don't think this is...
Ultimatum has a lot of on-death effects too. I just fucking hate it. Like, I don't know what else to say. I just fucking hate it. I don't think it's fun. I can complain about it as much as you want, but that's it. I don't like it. I just wish that make the mobs harder. Like, I don't think it's too hard. I just don't like the way that it's hard.
A very good system. I like the idea behind it,
fucking crazy.
But
yeah, they are.
Generally, it feels that at least the first 3 ascendancy like groups should be a little bit more free, so people could actually kind of, you know, take in the class that they're meaning to play. I don't feel.
I didn't think it was very hard. But Amaru, it took her like 3 or 4 or 5 times to do her first ascendancy. I didn't even know you could die. I didn't know it was... What? That's small, yes. That's... Summons Andy? I guess. Try playing melee? She's playing my build. She's playing the summon build.
Should have to like go that
hard
the
same
for
thing.
It. It's also Sanctum. Forced Sanctum is not something that everyone's gonna like. You might like Sanctum in Path of Exile 1. I know a lot of you guys did, but in Sanctum I played in Ruthless. And let me tell you something about Sanctum and Ruthless.
Yeah.
With absolutely 0 movement skills or teleports, Sanctum is not all that fun. A lot of people have been seriously spoiled with Flame Dash to levels that you can't imagine anymore until you hit up some of the Sanctums. Like, I had to do a 4-stage, a 4-floor Sanctum.
Lights are going up, snow is falling down. There's a feeling of goodwill around town. It could only mean one.
Whoa, I have to lay down before and after that. Yeah, I just have to lay down, like, holy fuck. Oh my god.
Just a quick warning for this video. This is my review after 100 hours. I do have a lot of feedback in this video. I'm still enjoying the game very much. However, I'm going to hit you with some issues I've ran into, as it is early access and this is feedback. So just be aware, it's not a salty rant, but there are definitely some issues I'm running into in the mid-game that I would like to explain. I have now played Path of Exile 2 for over 100 hours. I played 20 28 hours on the hardcore character and lost him to level 48, and I have 3 days, 15 hours, 57 minutes, and 22 seconds played on this character, and none of that is AFK. I don't leave the game running overnight, so I've been beginning it as is tradition. Now, I am on tier 12 maps in terms of the quest, but I can defeat tier 15 maps and, kill most things currently on my character. I got like 3,300 HP, resistances are looking alright, the damage is pretty decent. I've been playing. It's not the most amazing character in the world, but I'm healthily in the curve somewhere. Now, there has been a few patches since my last talking about review of the game, so we're going to talk about the game in its current state, how it feels, and how the in-game feels as well. So the first things we should address is in my last kind of review talking about the game, a little bit earlier review, they've changed a lot of things that I had actually mentioned. For instance, the currency drops were one of these. I had mentioned that the currency drops were bleeding me dry. I wasn't really able to get too many drops. Well, granted, I've been playing a lot longer and I'm in further maps, so drops are a little bit better, and I figured out the juicing of the maps a little bit, but the drops are like obviously increased. I also played a character to level 48 again through the campaign, and I was obviously getting better drops that playthrough. So in terms of currency acquisition, it is significantly improved. Also, something worth mentioning, but the rarity of items found stat in this game actually seems like majorly impactful. So if you are going to have a bunch of rarity on your equipment, you are going to notice the difference in drops. Speaking of impactful stats, we're going to get into one of my, you can call it feedback points, you can call it just an observation. Something that I have noticed, especially now that I'm sort of into the mapping here, chaos resistance is mega important. It's like every second or third mob basically has chaos damage. So you're constantly getting volatile plants and you're just getting smacked with chaos damage. There are these white mobs that have a staff, and I mean, these don't even have to be boosted. It's just a normal white mob with shoots a purple beam with a staff, and I mean, that thing can laser you almost no matter how tinky you are for like 2/3 of your health. The chaos damage in this game is actually kind of ridiculous. See, in Path of Exile 1, when you were doing, having chaos resistance, it's kind of balanced around having 0%.
That's essentially a shield. I've never played
It legitimately feels like the game is expecting me to have 75 resistances, like across the board. In Path of Exile 1, it kind of wouldn't matter too much about chaos res. I mean, yes, you would need some, especially later on in the game, but if you go through and die, then you got 5 over 4 though, so it'd be like, oh shit,
Go back and see what I upgrade this.
you got me. In this one, because you lose the ability in the map to have the bonus.
I love kite shields, man.
The maps work. Like if I go here and I lose, and I die to this map, the delirium goes away, but I can re-attempt the map. Now, here's the thing with this, because of the chaos.
2024 was iconic. Oh, hey, you headed finance? And it all started with a little TikTok. Your small businesses thrive. Now local spots on every corner are booming because one little TikTok can spark a really big impact.
So far, I'm just collecting the shields to see each one how they look like. Because I'm dumb like that. Strength. Because I want to put on this shit. I like just having it up there. Until they have great swords, just rocking. This is what I'm rocking, just to have the block.
Or go back or switch between mainly. Yeah, I think a lot of what kept Diablo 4 players from playing Path of Exile 1 is Path of Exile 1 does like a really bad job at kind of teaching the game from the beginning. Diablo 4 actually does like a pretty good job at getting you into the game early. Like, it's not really that chaos. earlier on in the game, you're probably going to experience some like getting one-shotted.
Acid
from the
shot.
chaos. And this isn't like too bad because they like unbrick the map, so you're not going to get like locked out of the acid. But it is kind of annoying for maps. We're going to get into something else here. Now, I actually have a decent amount of maps. Right here, and I got a pretty decent amount here.
What the hell is hitting so hard?
About 10 hours before this, I was really struggling with trying to sustain maps. And you might say, well, okay, well that's, a skill issue or knowledge issue. You got to go into your Atlas tree and make sure that your Atlas tree, is all waste. Well, it is. It's all waystones. I have all sustain on here. Everything I have here is related to rarity of waystones, quantity of waystones, waystones are a higher tier, quantity of precursor tablets. I have all of that. In fact, what I had to do here is go all the way quantity waystones, and add rare and unique monsters on the map, have additional modifiers and more modifiers that you can do to try to maintain these maps. Now, this wouldn't really be as much of an issue, and to be honest, later on it's kind of not as big of an issue, but in the early and the in-game maps, kind of like around the 6, 7-ish maps, you can very easily start to just run out of waystone maps, because what can happen is, the way you actually get a ton of these maps, by the way, let me explain this to you real quick, is if you go in on the map here and you look and there's these ones, okay, where they have these boss icons here, what you actually have to do is basically save your highest tier waypoint, and you use like an orb of alchemy and you make it yellow. You like juice that map up all the way, and you use that on those bosses, and then that's the way you get the higher waystones, because the bosses themselves will drop like those higher tier waystones. So if you're trying to climb up in the maps, this was the only way that I was really able to continually start to sustain and actually acquire more waystones than I was currently using. So the problem with the chaos, now we're getting back to the chaos a little bit here, is if you're kind of early on in the 6 to 7 waypoint maps, you're not gonna have a lot of chaos res yet. You probably have a min-max through here. You're prioritizing on like normal resistances, and they don't actually state this in the game, but as you go to higher tier waystones, it actually is just like the campaign where it drops down your resistances a little bit. So you're suddenly cooking along at 75, and the suddenly you got 65% resistance or something. Your map, you're like, what the hell happened? Did I have the wrong gear on? Well, no, you actually went to like the next bracket of maps, basically. You don't really realize that. Combine that with the fact that you have to, so you're trying to maintain your resistances. Combine that with the fact that like chaos mobs are like actually kind of fucking everywhere. Especially with some maps, they're kind of ridiculous. So you have these opportunities for you to get one shot by chaos very often during the time that you're struggling with map sustain around the 6 or 7. So I mean, I ran into this myself. Maybe this could be not as big of an issue in other classes. But the Warrior, I'm playing Sunder. To be fair, I'm playing like the longest wind-up of the game, pretty much. So as I'm doing that, I have some real opportunities to get one shot and lose a lot of sustain in my maps. So I think this can aggravate some people around that mid portion of maps until you start getting tanky enough and getting enough HP, etc. In fact, I had to redo a large portion of my build, and there will be an updated Warrior build guide sort of coming up here, or updated build setup, whatever you want to call it. It's not completed yet. But just to give me more tankiness with more strength when Giant's Blood, so I can wear a shield, more strength, had to increase my stun threshold with the max life. Like I did a lot of things on this tree just to try to become even tankier, as well as adding 48% chaos res. In fact, I like this other shield better as additional physical damage, but this one's got 21% chaos res, so I just gotta have it. So the chaos resistance situation is absolutely pretty much mandatory. Okay, all that being said, if you get past this like pushback point of like the mid-tier maps and you get kind of cruising with your build, the in-game actually is like feeling pretty good. Now I haven't done like pinnacle bosses yet. I'm probably gonna get to them today or like tomorrow, because we're starting to cruise here a bit and I can go through these maps pretty decently. But now I'm at the point where I can do like the tier 15s or so, and it's starting to feel pretty good. Like the loot's starting to come in. I will say though that while the loot is coming in better at the higher tier maps, it actually doesn't seem like that different from the earlier tier maps. In fact, I can farm exalted orbs faster in the campaign. I don't know if this is something they're going to change or patch or whatever, but literally there's a spot I was watching
Let's get back to the grind. Bruh.
Hit it, God.
How does this flamethrower not take a Willis? Hardly loses any mana. So strong. Probably Willis. I could swear they nerfed my grenades. My grenades are taking away too much mana for the cost. What is this? 1, 2, 3. First time I got an item from those moons.
Piercing shot.
hell happened to my... Please tell me I did not.
All in a day's work.
Please tell me I did not.
Young one. Stay in sight.
Quickly. Time is short. Make haste.
Who goes there? You may trade with me. Browse as long as you like. Goodbye.
Young one.
I don't know what happened with
Stay inside.
it's a soul or something on my stage. I should probably listen to these stories.
Speak up. She was a fierce warrior before she was... Here for a story? What? This is the tale. Many one in the creature, but then the mud we have... I have a very long... My role is... We understand the planes. Stay in
Need
sight.
something? I remember her face from before the battle where I lost my sight. She is quite beautiful, and she has strength and cunning to match. I can think of no better leader for us. We adore... Does the scorpion sting carry less poison at night? In the hopes of taking on fighting duty again, I am still practicing the art of the sword. Red-eyed. However, there is still honor. Zarka holds all the wisdom and knowledge of the Adura, especially now the gods have returned to Rayclast. We know that our beliefs have power. Perhaps we can bring back those verdant forests and gleaming rivers, if only we have enough faith in a leader strong enough to make it real. Take care.
How can I... Yes, I have seen the slaves pulling carts. I am uncomfortable with the practice, but from what I understand, it allows those captured in battle to serve rather than simply being executed. Not enough resources to keep prisoners who do not work. In this harsh land, it is perhaps the lesser of two evils. That is what I tell myself, at least. Asala has agreed to aid us, exactly as I expected. The beast represents an existential threat to all the peoples of Rayclast, but even beyond that, she seems to be quite driven. She reminds me of a rambunctious young woman I once knew in Keth, who eventually rose to power, attained divinity, and led her people to greatness.
Right in the eye! Wait a sec. Need more mana. Not yet.
Where the hell is going? To get this? Yeah, let's get these movement speeds. 1, 2, 3. It's 8.
Piercing shot.
Sheesh. Why do I have a feeling it's down there that I have to go back to?
Need a sec. Out of mana. Need a sec. Not yet. Not yet. Out of mana. Right in the eye.
Hold down the button for Bone Storm to...
Joke on this. Not yet. Need a sec. Not yet. you insane? Burn, oppressor! Need more time. Slow down! Need more mana. Die, die! Burn, oppressors! Breathe it in. Burn, oppressors! Stand still! Need more time. For the Paradun! Not yet. Out of mana. Need more time. Kill it, oppressors! Slow down! Need a sec. Burn, oppressors! Lash! Out of mana! Eye of the sun! Burn, oppressors! Deep breath! Slow down! Burn, burn, burn! For the Paradun!
Come on. I was goofing around too much. Pure foolishness. Goofing around trying to be cool when I should just finish.
He's insane.
Insane? I'll show you insane!
It's coming.
Die, die, die!
smells good here.
Please get me out of here.
No, you're gonna stay in there a little bit longer. 110. 99 over 2.5 seconds.
Winds praise you. 1,000 praises, my friend. I thought I would die here. Please take me back to your caravan, and I will take.
I should charge for this.
Quickly. They call the society. No. It takes courage to go against. I personally am to do whatever it takes.
I know what Jaman Ra intends. Atop the burial spires of Dishar lie the Maraket's most honored. He intends to. Think carefully. Farewell.
Welcome. If her information proves. Fight to the last.
Six.
Jaman-Ra? His offenses was Nasima. Habal Balik, one a true role model. Do not wander.
Did I not select?
Something's up.
The Halani gates are closed, and the Faradan hold them in defense of the beast. We will have to find another way. You have your orders.
Turn the caravan and talk to him. Guys, maybe come here just to get an NPC to tell me. I can't do it.
The Halani gates are closed. Then Jaman Ra must have succeeded in capturing them. He planned to close the gates to prevent, but there is another way. An ancient passage. This Oriana, she left for Azomite land. I am ashamed to admit that the sight of that thing chilled by the time we were done. I must pursue what I feel to be right. If you had seen the darkness rising in the hearts of my brothers, the Maraket have no idea how great we number. Everything we do, from our guard, Asala promises them a return to their glory. I cannot say I view the Maraket. What is that being? This corrupt. Soon that fervor, the Faridun are warring against them. You need not trust me. I am of the fact this madness. Warm nights.
So, the outcasts have raised their new king from the grave, and he seeks to violate Deshar, to feed our honored dead to the beast. Such our city of. Let us see if this. Fight to the last.
I hear movement in the dark. Lots of movement. all in a day's work.
Not yet. Not yet. Killing time. Not yet. Need more time. No mana.
All these statues still just as dead. What was the point, eh?
I'll break ya. Need a sec. Need more time.
If you are traveling the traitor, I will tell you. This defect we deal with our own. Publicly, to be honest, I expected long ago she what was her reward? Jingak. No need to rush. Warm nights.
What?
How can I advise you?
What? I will tell your tale. What?
Die. Not yet. Need a sec. Out of mana. Oi, gotta be something valuable behind those doors.
Let's level up first. Pretty sure there's another group. I ain't switching my routines and find something else that has more speed. And it's an upgrade.
The traitor Balbala has been sentenced to...
Need more time. Need more mana. Need Parting shot! No mana! Not yet!
Right. 2 more levels and then go back down to I'm not gonna put swords and stuff